Tasmania, a seemingly peaceful wilderness, but hidden deep beneath its icy waters, is a world crying out for help. There, the Tasmanian giant freshwater crayfish, the largest freshwater crustacean on the planet, which has existed for millions of years, is slowly disappearing. But now, they are hunted as living treasure. A single adult can fetch thousands of dollars on the black market, although fishing is strictly prohibited. Each crayfish that disappears is a piece of Tasmania's soul ripped from the wild. And if that continues, not only this species, but the very breathing of Tasmania's rivers will be silenced forever. Go discover deadly Tasmanian crayfish waters. How fishermen catch the world's largest crustaceans. Tasmania appears like a world apart, where temperate rainforests are covered in green moss, ancient trees weave through the canopy, and crystal-clear rivers flow quietly between valleys. In the north of the island, the river water rarely exceeds 60 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, cold and crystal clear. Amid the mist and the sound of water crashing against rocks, an ancient creature quietly exists, the Tasmanian giant freshwater crayfish, the largest freshwater crustacean on the planet. In the dim light of the rainforest, their steel-green shells gleam like metal, their massive pincers and long antennae moving slowly but powerfully. Capable of growing to over 2.5 feet long and weighing over 13 pounds, these giant crayfish defy the conventional crayfish stereotype. They've been called living relics of prehistoric times, surviving for millions of years with little change. The Tasmanian crayfish can live up to 40 years, but it takes nearly a decade to reach adult size, an incredibly slow growth rate. It's this slowness that makes them a symbol of the resilience and adaptability of the local environment. Each female breeds only once every 2 years, carrying around 200 to 400 tiny eggs under her belly for months during the winter. In the frigid waters, she patiently guards each egg, barely eating or moving far. When the eggs hatch, the tiny, fragile, vulnerable young begin their slow journey to adulthood, which can take decades. From that moment on, a new cycle of life began, slow, steady, and almost unchanged over millions of years. In the cold rivers of Tasmania, life continued to flow, following the quiet, unwavering rhythm of this ancient creature. In the bitterly cold rivers of Tasmania, a few special groups of fishermen still quietly do a rare job, hunting giant crayfish, not for commercial purposes, but for research and conservation. Small boats drift slowly in the morning mist, the steam rising thickly, surrounded by silence and the heavy breath of the river. To catch an adult, they must set steel traps deep in the water, bait them with fresh fish, and wait for hours, sometimes all night, in the bitter cold. As the net was pulled up, metal screeched through wet hands, the water broke, and a huge black mass emerged, a shiny steel blue shell, growing heavier and heavier. Was this an act of science or a way for humans to challenge the limits of nature? Beneath its thick armor and weapon-like claws, the Tasmanian crayfish possesses extraordinary vitality. It is not fast, but strong enough to crack a snail shell or repel an intruder. In the cold, opaque water, two males face off, slow, tense, and precise. One strike sends a spray of white smoke into the air. The battle is not about killing, but about asserting dominance. The winner keeps his territory. The loser retreats quietly into the shadows. But behind that tough exterior, they are gentle creatures. They do not hunt, they do not kill, they just quietly clean the riverbed like nature's guardians. They pick up dead leaves, moss, and insects that float by, helping to clear the water and bring oxygen to the depths, feeding countless other creatures. Nature gave them power, but they choose to survive calmly, a symbol of the slow, steady, and meaningful life of Tasmania's rivers. The tranquil world of Tasmanian crayfish is under threat. Forest destruction, soil, and chemical runoff have made rivers murky, depleted of oxygen, and crayfish eggs are washed away with each rainy season. At the same time, human greed has turned them into black market commodities. Even though they are banned from harvesting, a mature specimen can fetch thousands of dollars. It takes decades to grow, but only seconds to be taken. Faced with extinction, Tasmania takes action. Scientists, fishermen, and volunteers work together to restore streams, breed, and release young crayfish back into the wild. Where life had once been cut off, tiny creatures have returned, a symbol of new hope. Former hunters have become protectors because they understand saving crayfish is saving the river itself. Beneath the icy waters of Tasmania, the giant crayfish quietly persists, proof that the true power of nature lies not in its ferocity, but in its to endure through time. Its slow movements are the pulse of an ecosystem struggling to survive in a changing world. If you believe ancient creatures like these deserve to be known and protected, subscribe to our channel to continue exploring the wonders hidden beneath the water, where the past and life still coexist every day. Amidst the thick white mist that covers Tasmania's ancient rainforests, a drone glides through the damp treetops, sliding along a cold river winding through a deserted valley. Lurking at depths of about 650 RX to 1969 feet, where water temperatures are just a few degrees Celsius, cold water shrimp thrive slowly in the ocean's harshest environments. They are smaller than tiger prawns but stand out with their rich sweetness and firm meat, characteristics that only harsh nature can create. Therefore, cold water shrimp is a sought-after specialty in Northern Europe, Japan, and the United States. With prices that can reach $25 per kilogram, just a 5-ton batch of shrimp can be worth more than $1 million. 12. The shift lasted through the night. Under the yellow lights, the roar of engines, and the roar of waves. There is no waiting for the sun, no doing it again tomorrow. There is only one goal: survive and hit the They are precious gifts from the cold ocean, but to preserve them, humans must race against nature itself. In the cold seas, nature is harsh and unpredictable. Gusts of wind fog and deep currents make locating crayfish extremely difficult. When the first 100-pound tuna bursts from the water, a 72-hour race begins Harvest Chill package ship, nearly 5 tons of fish worth up to $2 million. The tide is the most dangerous variable. If you cast your net at the wrong time, the shrimp will drift away and the whole catch can be lost. This is not just fishing. This is a war with nature, where humans can only win with experience, courage, and technology. The reefer fishing vessels are equipped with state-of-the-art sonar systems to locate the shrimp in the deep water. Once hauled aboard, the shrimp are sorted, cleaned, pre-steamed, and sent straight to the blast freezer. All of this happens in a closed process, right at sea, without going through ports, without any extra steps. Below deck, the hold is kept at sub-zero temperatures, cold enough to lock in the freshness of every piece of meat. Every movement on board is part of a perfectly functioning machine, from the captain setting the course to the refrigeration engineer monitoring the temperature to the workers operating the freezers. Everything has to work together as precisely as a Swiss watch. In the shrimp production chain, every deviation comes at a cost, in cash. Just a drop in freshness can cause the purchase price to drop by 60%. One substandard batch of shrimp, and instantly hundreds of thousands of dollars are gone. But the damage doesn't stop there. A shipment rejected from an export order means loss of reputation, loss of market, and sometimes loss of partners.